Hi guys, Billy here again. Sunday morning, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I've been thinking about something since the last blade tutorial that I had done, talking about the concepts that I teach for Highline. And talking to other friends and just having conversations about it. A very interesting thing comes up. When we practice this stuff, you know, whether using a blade, empty hand, improvised weapon, couple things to keep in mind, at least on the back burner while you're learning this stuff. When you're under attack, like for instance, a blade, Highline, let's say you're up against the wall, you're up against the car bumper, you have nowhere to go. And you have to decipher what's coming at you. When you're doing this, the processes that are going through your mind are opportunity, and it's important to recognize when an opportunity presents itself. So, for sake of explanation, okay, if I'm facing camera like this, and I'm stabbing straight in, or I'm coming in like this, okay, the trajectory is coming right at me, right? So what makes sense? Going to the outside line. Right? Now, if you can't move that much and you can't go back, it's going to be real important for you to enter. That is why when I discuss this, I'm entering, passing overhead. This is an important concept to understand what I'm trying to get across here. Because the argument with a lot of people is, why would you enter? Well, when you have no choice, you need to. But there's a correct way to do it and an incorrect way to do it. And so I'm trying to establish this for the sake of commentary, for understanding. Anytime a blade is coming at you, okay, obviously it's my right hand and camera, it's going to behoove you to meet and pass it overhead or pass it ahead. Now, why would you do that? Because it's above your elbow. Okay? You're not going to sweep it down and run the risk of a body cut. This doesn't make sense. So you want to meet and pass it up. So your elbow's down. When this is coming up, you're going to pass it over. That's theory. It could also be a strike. It's a counter arc. And hopefully it's going to, you want to enter so that the knife goes up and over your head. This is if you have a blade. If you don't have a blade, it doesn't matter. Don't get so caught up on, do I have a knife, do I not have a knife? Excuse me. This is my whole point. Too many guys get caught up, do I have a weapon, do I not have a weapon? Most of the time you won't, let's be real. You're not going to be able to pull it out in time. But we start with the blade so you understand that we're dealing with a blade. That's it. Outside of that, it could be anything. That's the beauty of conceptual training. What I want to get through to you guys is why you enter. Now keep in mind, I got nowhere to go back here. I'm buried. If this thing is coming at me, whether in an arc or whether straight, the straighter it comes, the more I can shift and pass it. That makes sense? But if it's coming in an arc, okay, I have to intercept it and guide it over. Does that make sense? Of course it does. This is my point when we're getting into this conceptual training, okay? Now, with that said, what if we have room? Okay, now we open up another thing. On this line, okay, you can, when you go to enter, you can zone out and pass down. Now I have the room here, see? It's a lot different cup of tea now, okay? Then I get to the outside of the arm. Now I have options. Whether I'm armed, whether I'm not armed. If I can use the tool, I use it. If I can't use the tool, I don't. But I have other tools. I have knees. I have elbows. I can bite. I can gouge. I can stab with my fingertips in the eyes. I can pop a joint. So this is why I'm saying again, don't get so caught up on the blade. Right? You need to be able to access that part of you that will fight. Why? Because you have to dedicate yourself to success. If this is coming at you and I go, man, I need to get in here and get something done. I can't be sitting out here wondering, worrying, waiting. There's a time to wait and there's a time not to wait. All right? When you're dealing with this and you're in very close proximity, you must get arm control. If you don't, that thing is free. And then keep in mind, your attacker can also kick, punch, and do all those other things with his other hand if he's any good. And let's not underestimate striking. Okay? When you see people train, you don't see a lot of it. Keep in mind, when you block, bang, that's a strike. These are two strikes. It's a meet, pass overhead. You're shocking the limb. That's the whole point. Whether you're armed or you're unarmed. I wanted to clarify this because when you try to explain to people, they tend to get caught up on the what ifs or the but. He has a knife. Yes, he does. And so this is the reason you need to train this way. You need to train in the worst possible disadvantage you can put yourself in so that you have a mental understanding of what's required to have maybe success. And I say maybe. So please understand this, especially with the things that you see me show. Okay? They do work. It does require practice and it does require commitment. Just like when a person's boxing, if he's just being defensive all the time, if he just catch, if he doesn't catch, make a spring and fire back, he doesn't stand a chance in hell. There's offense with all defense. If you're smart, you train the defense with all offense. Two sides of the coin. You can't have one without the other. Keep it that simple in your head, please. This is what's super, super important, especially when we're talking about the knife. Now remember, this could be any cutting implement. It could be a can opener, it could be a razor blade, it could be a box cutter, it could be a kitchen knife, it could be anything. You know? It's just a tool. View it as such. Don't get caught up on this. Now, we call it working with the blade because we are. We're using it as a tool. Now, this tool doesn't have to just cut. It can impact, it can pass. There's many, many things and uses for it. On the high line, when I first showed you the thrust, something's thrusting at you, you're going to shift off to your back leg, you're going to angle out, you're going to meet the thrust coming forward and cut and immediately forearm pressure in. This is called a monitor. All right? Now, I can do the same thing hitting. Now I'm using my arm to monitor. It's the same thing using a blade. Now I'm using the blade to monitor. Okay? This is concept. This is my whole point when I'm trying to get across. So don't get so hung up on whether you got the knife, whether you don't got the knife. That's why I'm trying to show you my concepts work. And they overlap empty hand, armed. That's the whole point of training this way. I don't have a million techniques. There's just a concept that I follow. It adjusts to what's coming at me. When I say it, the concept. That's why you want random partners. That's why you want random apparatuses. And keep in mind that once you understand the concept, the variations are there. They're just minor shifts. But the importance of being able to enter with authority, that's what's going to stop the attacker. Keep that clear in your mind. That's what's going to stop the attacker. You know what I mean? Are you going to stop the attacker pushing him? No, you have to hit his ass. Okay, get his attention. Shock his brain. This is real, real important. Same thing goes when you're dealing with opposing knife. Okay, that's the whole point. You're going to have the balls to enter. If you act like a victim, you might become one. So it's real important in your training the proper mindset. This isn't playing here. This is the point I've been trying to get across all along. Okay? Now, when I come back online, I'm going to address elbow line and down, which I call low line. Why am I going to address this? Well, remember, high line is elbow line and up. And from the elbow line, you can arc over. Okay? Below the elbow line, you have to arc under. That's what makes it what it is. You got that line? If it's here, you arc up. If it's here, you arc down. Okay? Now, the exception to the rule is you can block high line and zone out and sweep it low again. Yes, you can do that and answer back in. And in fact, you see that a lot. Okay? But you take advantage when it's above elbow to enter. It's much easier to enter. If you try to sweep way up high, when you're sweeping, that guy's got momentum coming in. He can hit you with the other hand or another tool or another blade. This is why I differentiate it this way. Okay? Above elbow line, you enter. Below elbow line, you zone out. It simplifies everything, and besides that, it makes sense. Okay? When you can raise a person's arm, they have no power. Okay? But if you sweep their arm down, they still have power, especially if they're counterintuitive and understand what they're doing. That's going to make it a little bit different. And then we started addressing the idea of balance control. What's your balance doing? What's their balance doing? So it goes on and on and on, and it's a lot of fun. But I did want to take a minute to talk about this because I felt it was important. And then the other thing I want to show you now is after we did the high line stuff here, cut the limbs. We did the enter stuff, cut the limbs. Okay, now, if I have room behind me, yes, I can zone out. So here, you pass down. Another bicep cut monitor. Okay? In, I'm doing the monitor. See? So high line, yes, you can sweep back. But when it's above the elbow, it just makes a lot more sense to come in. Okay? And make sure you clear everything. That's why you enter out here on a 45. All right? I wanted to really make sure I drive that home because it's important to understand. Okay, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you very much for listening. And again, I appreciate everybody's hits on YouTube. I'm very happy about that. Again, please email me at billyboston@gmail.com or combativenessworkshop@hotmail.com. I love to get questions and critique and anything you guys want to say. I want to meet people out there and I want to spread what I do because I want to help people not be victims anymore. It's getting to be a harsh world out there and we need to band together and we need to learn and we need to help one another because there's just some craziness going on out there and it doesn't have to be like that. So again, you know, please hit me up. I'm asking you to because I want to get myself out there and I am trying to run a self-defense business. Like I said, I do dance to the beat of a different drummer, but it's a likable drummer. Anyway, take care. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.